Shandy was just talking about how much you guys kind of feed offensively off of Taylor. That showed today. I mean, how important is, just kind of a good game for her offensively for the rest of you guys, to kind of flow pretty well offensively?
Taylor's kind of the, you say Taylor, what's Taylor?
I meant Ford, yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you were talking about. But again, I think, everybody knows how much Ford's putting into the game, how hard she's playing. Mm-hmm. And if she gets in a good flow and she's showing good temperament, good intensity, good, like she's feeling confident, I think the rest of the team picks up and say, hey, we've got this game, we're going to be able to attack because Ford's really attacking the basket and things. And we worked extremely hard the last 3 days on attacking the basket. I mean, we got Southern for jump shots. Louisiana Tech was a terrible game for us, and I think they learned a lot about what it takes to really win in a tough situation. I mean, anytime you go on the road, it's always a tough situation. We hadn't figured that out, so hopefully they'll use some comparison of playing against them. This is a very good ball team, and we made them look at times, not that good, but they're very good by it. I mean, didn't they just get them beaten number 12 or 13?
Number 12.
So, I mean, even though we won like we did, it didn't just happen. Our kids played extremely well.
When can you, talking about Taylor Ford a little bit, when can you kind of tell, that she is pretty locked in? Could you tell, since you guys got back through practice, or not until today the game started, or when as a coach can you kind of tell that,
I think Ford is, valued the opportunity to be a leader, to become a leader. And she's really worried about it. And when we lost, and especially the way we lost to Louisiana Tech, I think it, made her realize that, you can't take things for granted. And, and I tell our kids, your seniors, you got to do this for the seniors. They only got one opportunity. They only get to play one more year, so don't let your seniors down. And if the seniors are showing how much it means to them, then the other kids, if they've got good character, good quality, they're going to help your seniors. And that's what it should be all about. They gave you 4 years. They ought to play for those seniors because they got another year or 2 or 3, however many left, to have that opportunity to do it again. The seniors only got one chance, to win a championship as a senior. So everybody has to understand that you got to play for your kids and for your teammates, and I think we did that today.
You guys played pretty well defensively the whole game, just like you guys have been, but I think it was around about 5 or 6 minutes into that started feeding into the offense. Is that when you can kind of watch and see that work and kind of see that you're in for a pretty good day or a pretty
I think we've got to score off of our defense. We're not a good enough scoring team, and if we don't get some points off of the defensive effort and running the ball, then you're going to see us scoring later. For 30s, late 30s, hopefully in 40s. Sometimes it's been 20s this year, which wasn't no fun at all. But we got to score off of our defense. We got to be that kind of team.
24 for them. She got in foul trouble and didn't score until the second half. Was that pretty important? I know Ford was on her.
24 is a very good play. I think they feed off 24, and they didn't have that opportunity. And like you say, I think that helped us tremendously.
After what happened in Ruston, did you think a day like this was possible against a team like that that's played pretty well? Or?
You don't ever know in coaching that's what you keep doing it for. You keep hoping, you keep praying, and that's when you get to that's the reason you coach is you go from one extreme, coaches as highs and lows, and you try to stay on the level. As a coach, you try to stay low and not get too worried about the losses, and not get too high about the wins. And that's kind of what I've done with this team. Is just, hey, we just got to keep plugging. But that's what keeps you going right there. Is to see one team going from playing so bad to play that kind of basketball. That's what makes it fun.
I imagine you guys haven't figured it out completely yet, just the difference between how you play at home and on the road. But as you start this conference play, is that maybe your biggest concern right now, just kind of that difference?
No doubt. No doubt. We've gone on the road. We haven't played with good intensity. And, it's college basketball. 70% of the teams win at home. College basketball. There's a reason for it. I mean, you got to be extra tough when you go on the road. And it's not the officiating. It's just, kids play better at home. You shoot better at home. You don't get the breaks. You got the crowd to pick you up. So you just got to be extra tough on the road. We haven't been tough at all.
Touched on a little bit, but I mean, you shot 50% today, I think, And the way you guys play defense, you probably don't need that every night. But what would you say is maybe a benchmark to where you guys need to get either, kind of what you shoot?
I think anytime I shoot 43 or above, we got a chance of winning. I think once you go below 43, you're pretty suspect. That's always been kind of my standard. Is if you know you got a team that can shoot around 43, and some nights get up to 48 to even 50. But you start dropping below that, and especially when you're playing against good teams, then you're probably going to get beat.
And that's a challenge, I guess, starting next week or here in a few days.
Starts next, the end of this week.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
starts Thursday and Saturday. 2 on the road. We'll find out if we learn anything.
Overall, do you like where you guys are at? Obviously, you'd like,
I'd like for us to be 10-0. So.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We're not quite where I'd like to be, but
Yeah.
you are what you are.
Yeah.
And, this game at the end, it's kind of like what you are the last game. And if this is a benchmark for us, if this is what we can do, I'd really be happy. But I know it hadn't been that long ago since it was really bad. So, that's the reason you play a non-conference schedule like we did. It showed us our weaknesses and it showed us some strengths. And that's the reason I don't want to go into conference. We played a lot better teams than the teams that will win our conference, and we know what it takes to play against good teams. And we know what it takes to play, every night out when you go on the road now. So there's no guessing about our team. We know what we need to do, and that's a good thing about playing a non-conference schedule like we played. It gave us the opportunity to see our weaknesses and see how bad it can be. But it also gives us the opportunity to start saying we can do these things pretty good too. So, when you beat people like South Dakota State like that, it gives your ball club confidence that, hey, we know we can play against good people. So when it gets tournament time and it gets conference time, you're not sitting there guessing. You haven't played a weak schedule and you're 9-1 and 9-2, and you've only played one tough game, and it may have been, anybody can be good for one night or bad for one night. But when you play a consistent tough schedule, you know where your weaknesses are. We know where our weaknesses are. And now we need to start playing to our strengths.
Thanks.
All right.
Hey, you guys